we've recently completed a pilot project for one of Canada's largest telecommunication providers, SharePoint 2010, and really with three business objectives in mind, to try and prove out how effective it could be in supporting innovation management, so broadening the number of people involved in the innovation process, helping people locate internal expertise, so both people and documents, and then finally around employee engagement and culture change, so making sure that excuse me, new employees are able to quickly figure out where they fit in the organization and find the people that can mentor them. And so those are the business objectives. How we transform that with SharePoint 2010 is that we used a number of features I think were very powerful. The social features have been greatly useful in tying, in that last objective, in tying new employees to mentors who can help them understand the organization and also for locating where they fit within the broader hierarchy. The metadata, the tagging infrastructure available in SharePoint 2010 has really allowed us to significantly improve the ability of documents to be stored logically and to be found by people who didn't know that they were actually looking for them but knew that they had a problem. And then finally, we created on top of SharePoint 2010 an innovation management structure which allows people to vote up and vote down ideas and then tie that into the back end so that managers were able to assess employees based on their contribution to the innovation management process. And so all that happened within a pilot project framework, but the end result I think is we were able to check off the pieces that the client was trying to accomplish in a fairly demonstrable kind of way, and we're pretty optimistic about the project rolling forward. Our pilot projects have been with, one is with a very large school board in the US, one is with a very large private company in Canada. So I think it has, I think if you have internal challenges around collaboration, around employee recruitment and retention, around finding expertise, it can solve those problems really regardless of the vertical. What we found most effective with 2010 is making sure the client is able to define their business objectives before you start the pilot project. So if they're just standing it up to see what it does, that's helpful, and the IT team will probably get some information on how it works and some sense of its capabilities. Doesn't do much for driving forward the initiative when it comes to the executive suite or somebody who actually signs checks. Whereas if you're able to say to them, like, what are the big problems in your organization? How do we specify those in measurable ways? How are we going to measure that? And then use that for framing a pilot project, roll out SharePoint 2010 and see the extent to which it can start knocking down those major challenges inside the organization. In that case, you can build a lot more momentum and a lot more awareness at the senior level. We found that being the key to moving out of the IT environment into a broader corporate-wide environment. Fundamentally, IT implements, but at the end of the day, where the business value is driven with 2010 is in the end users, right? I mean, it's about the democratization of information. If IT's job is to support that, but at the end of the day, that's the plumbing. The value comes from how people interact with the system. And so figuring out how to do that is the key.